Hello there, boys and girls. My name is Ashley from Express International in collaboration with the Guyana National Library, and I will be reading for you from Fairy Tales for Girls, Jack and the Beanstalk, retold by Nick Ellsworth, illustrated by Stephen Aitken, Sahin Erkocak, Mary Ramsey, Gary Rees, and Elena Selivanova. Jack and the Beanstalk. Jack lived with his mother in an old cottage in a field. They were very poor. The only thing they owned was a cow called Milky White. One day, poor old Milky White stopped giving them milk. You'd better take her to the market and sell her, Jack's mother told him. At least we'll be able to buy some bread and honey with the money we get for her. The next day, Jack and Milky White set out bright and early on the road to the market. Halfway there, Jack noticed an old man sitting at the side of the road. "Fine morning," said Jack. "It certainly is," said the man. "What a fine looking cow you have there." "I'm taking her to the market to sell her," replied Jack. "Perhaps you would sell her to me," said the old man. "I have no money, but I do have 5 magic beans I can give you." Jack thought this was a very fair exchange. After saying goodbye to Milky White, he put the magic beans safely in his pocket and ran to his mother. When he told her what had happened and showed her the magic beans, she was furious with him. "You stupid boy," she said. "You may as well have given our cow away. Now we have nothing to eat and no money to buy any food. Go to your room at once." Then she threw the beans out the window. When Jack woke up the next morning, there was a strange shadow over his bed. He looked out the window and couldn't believe his eyes. Overnight, one of the beans had grown into a huge beanstalk. It was so big he couldn't see the top. It just disappeared into the clouds. Jack stepped out of his window onto the beanstalk and started to climb. He went higher and higher until he couldn't see the ground at all. At the very top was a rough path. He followed the path until he came to a huge castle. He walked around the castle walls until he came to a great door. He crept inside and found himself inside an immense kitchen. Suddenly, he came face to face with an enormous woman. "Ah, a little boy," she said. "My husband loves to eat little boys for breakfast. Lucky for you, I've already made him breakfast today." Suddenly, Jack heard footsteps. They were so loud, they shook the whole castle. "Quick, hide," said the enormous woman. "That's my husband coming. He'll want to eat you if he sees you." Jack hid among the gigantic pots and pans and saw a great big giant enter the kitchen. He sang a strange song in a big rumbling voice. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." Jack had never been so frightened in his life. He kept as still as possible. Hiding behind the pots and pans, he watched as the giant sat down at the vast table and ate a huge breakfast of eggs, bacon, and toast. After he'd finished eating, he pulled a bag of gold coins from his pocket and began to count them. The giant got halfway through counting the coins before he leaned back in his chair and fell fast asleep. His snoring sounded like the rumble of thunder. Jack carefully slipped out from his hiding place, took 2 of the huge gold coins under his arm, and quickly ran out of the castle and back to the beanstalk. He threw the coins down to the garden and climbed down as fast as he could. When he reached the bottom, he found his mother staring in amazement at the gold coins. When Jack told her his astonishing story, his mother couldn't help but believe him. The proof was right there in front of her, the two gold coins. For the next few months, Jack and his mother had everything they ever wanted. They bought all the food they could eat and furnished their cottage from top to bottom. But soon the money ran out and Jack realized that he'd have to go to get more. So up the beanstalk he went again. When he got to the kitchen this time, he hid in the massive oven. Just in time, because the ground began to shake as the giant stomped in for breakfast. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. The giant sat down with a great thump, and, like the last time, was served an enormous breakfast by his enormous wife. After he'd finished, he put a hen on the table. Oh no, he's not going to eat that too, thought Jack from his secret hiding place. But the giant didn't eat it. He just roared, "Lay!" to the hen, and the hen began to lay a golden egg. A few minutes later, the giant roared, "Lay!" to the hen again, and it laid another golden egg. I must have that hen, thought Jack. When the giant was asleep, he sneaked out of the oven, grabbed the hen, and ran as fast as he could to the beanstalk. At the bottom, Jack's mother was astonished when she saw the hen laying golden eggs and gave Jack a great big hug. Jack became very, very rich, but soon he got bored, having nothing to do. So he climbed the beanstalk again. When he reached the castle this time, he hid in the log basket. As usual, the giant ate his huge breakfast. When he finished, he put a little harp on the table. "Play!" roared the giant. The harp began to play the most beautiful music. I must have that harp, thought Jack. After the giant had fallen asleep, Jack climbed out of the log basket, snatched the harp from the table, and ran out of the castle. But the harp cried, "Help me, master! Help me, master!" The giant woke up with a start, and when he realized what had happened, chased Jack all the way to the beanstalk. Jack threw the harp down and began to climb down himself. Looking up, he saw that the giant was climbing down after him. The beanstalk was shaking and waving around under the giant's huge weight. When Jack got to the bottom, he grabbed an axe and quickly chopped down the beanstalk. The giant came crashing to the ground and was killed at once. There were no more adventures for Jack and his beanstalk. The harp was broken, but Jack and his mother still had the hen that laid the golden eggs. So they never had to worry about anything ever again and lived happily ever after. And that, boys and girls, brings us to the end of our story today. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're interested in any of our books, they can be borrowed from the Guyana National Library. So head down and become a member if you aren't a member already to get access to these fascinating features. Please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification so you can be notified when new books are added. I'm your reader for today from Express International, Ashley, saying goodbye.